All right, we wanted to quickly touch on the idiotic, perpetual lies of Donald Drumpf, the most recent being the remarkably ridiculous and idiotic claim that Drumpf is going to in any way protect the LGBTQ community from anything.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
It's absolutely idiotic. Drumpf, who has firmly stood against gay marriage, saying that he thought the Supreme Court made a poor decision by giving human rights to all gay American citizens.
I would have preferred, certainly, if it were made by the states, the decision. I thought maybe that's what would have happened. You never knew. It was like a 50-50 call.
But you're not going to spend a lot of time on this issue.
Look, it's an issue that's been determined by the Supreme Court. I would have liked to have seen the decision differently.
Mr. Trump, let's take one issue. You say now that the Supreme Court has ruled that same-sex marriage is the law of the land and that any politician who talks about wanting to amend the Constitution is just playing politics. Are you saying it's time to move on?
No, I'm saying this. It has been ruled upon. It has been there. If I'm if I'm elected, I would be very strong on putting certain judges on the bench that I think maybe could change things. They have ruled on it. I wish that it was done by the state. I don't like the way they ruled. I disagree with the Supreme Court from the standpoint they should have given the state, should be a states' rights issue, and that's the way it should have been ruled on, Chris, not the way they did it. This was a very surprising ruling. I would have much preferred that they ruled at a state level and allowed the states to make those rulings themselves.
But just to button this up very quickly, sir, are you saying that if you become president, you might try to appoint justices to overrule the decision on same-sex marriage?
I would strongly consider that, yes.
Gay rights are nothing more than human rights. If one group can marry, then any group can marry. That is the idea of freedom for all. Drumpf and anti-American GOP religious kooks who are terrorists in America have a very difficult time understanding the concept of freedom for all. It is a very basic, simple thing to grasp, unless you are an absolute idiot and a hypocritical, condescending, derisive religious kook who is so self-righteous that you think your single personally held beliefs should affect all free Americans. Now, this can be expressed very simply. The self-righteousness and hypocritical fashion of these fucktards can be, again, demonstrated very easily. These are the same fucking morons who claim to be pro-life while ardently, vociferously clamoring wildly and crazily for guns, wars, and the death penalty. We've said it innumerable times at this point that you cannot be pro-life if you are for guns, wars, and the death penalty. They simply don't go together. If you are pro-life, you are anti-guns, you are anti-war, and you are anti-death penalty. Period, no exceptions. Now, on with Drumpf's absolute lie and idiocy. Drumpf is a career criminal fraudster. That is a proven fact. Not to mention a four-time bankruptcy filing inept buffoon when it comes to business. This moron opened a mortgage company right at the very point of the Bush W mortgage and housing collapse. It is the equivalent of setting up a deck chair on the Titanic as the vessel is striking the iceberg. This is the financial acuity and business sense of Drumpf. Now, it equally applies to everything this absolute criminal fraud says and does. Drumpf has now said he's going to protect the LGBTQ community.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
And he's done so by enlisting, and probably because no one else wants to be his running mate, he has enlisted Pence, the governor of Indiana, who created a discrimination bill against gay citizens, against gay Americans. And his creepy little cult wants to further this agenda. Pence, who said that gay couples signal societal collapse. That's verbatim, his quote. Signals societal collapse. He also said that it affects marriage. It causes, in Pence's opinion, it disturbs heterosexual marriages. That must extend to Donald Drumpf, too, who's been married 3 times, twice to foreign immigrant spouses, and once to an American who quickly dropped him. Aside from that, he was also looking at Newt Gingrich as a running mate. Newt Gingrich has also been married 3 times. So apparently these heterosexual marriages are really keeping the institution of marriage intact. Has nothing to do with gays, this or that, period. And Mike Pence is a self-loathing homosexual man who was raised by creepy religious kooks like the father of Omar Mateen, the terrorist who shot up a gay nightclub because he felt disenfranchised from his father, who used to call him disgusting gay slurs constantly in front of his wife. Now let's take a little look at Mike Pence and Donald Drumpf. Donald Drumpf says he's going to protect gays and the gay community, and then he brings in as his running mate one of the most anti-gay, homophobic, self-loathing homosexuals on earth. Pence, aside from being completely against gay marriage and wanting to overturn the gay marriage law, don't ask, don't tell, all these things, he is horrifying, absolutely horrifying to the gay community. He represents a threat and a terror to them, wanting to not only diminish their human rights, but to absolutely erase them. Drumpf has said himself that he wants to reverse the Supreme Court's decision and give states like Indiana the right to not only discriminate against gays, but to persecute them in the most unwholesome anti-American way.
But just to button this up very quickly, sir, are you saying that if you become president, you might try to appoint justices to overrule the decision on same-sex marriage?
I would strongly consider that, yes.
Religious kooks, sick, self-righteous religious kooks like Mike Pence, want to further their own personal beliefs against free Americans. Pence is against transgender bathroom initiative. That simply allows people to use the bathroom of their choice comfortably when they are a man or a woman. There's nothing creepy about it. Frankly, they've been using those bathrooms for years anyway, without any incident. They're only imagined incidents. There aren't any real incidents. They're all fake, concocted ones to try and make transgender people look bad, when they're simply human beings wishing to use a washroom. That is the extent of it. It is creepy that Mike Pence would want to force his personal beliefs and creepy religious dogma-based opinions onto free Americans. It's detestable. It's completely anti-American. Not to mention, again, that Mike Pence is a self-loathing gay man. The most homophobic people are usually gay, in almost every instance. Just ask Ted Haggard, or Dennis Hastert, or Jerry Sandusky, or Larry Craig, or Mark Foley. The list goes on and on and on, and they are almost invariably Republicans or conservatives in almost every instance. Pence is for the creepy, destructive, and harmful, sickening fake therapy of conversion therapy. There is a clinic run by self-loathing homosexual man Marcus Bachmann, who makes the same claim. Now, if you actually think that Marcus Bachmann is straight, you need to go to conversion therapy. Conversion therapy that takes a mentally ill person and converts them back to a normally sane person. That's the only kind of conversion therapy that works. And Mike Penis needs it. Mike Penis needs to go to a therapist and come to grips with his own homosexuality so he can stop injuring himself and their community, which he is a part of. There's no denying it. It is just absolutely sickening that Donald Drumpf, a habitual, pathological, and perpetual liar, would say that he is going to protect the LGBTQ community while enlisting Mike Penis, the most anti-gay, creepy, lowlife, and anti-American in history. This guy is despised by the GOP because even they are smart enough to know, the creepy religious cult they are, how damaging he is publicly. He says things that are offensive. He says things that are ghastly. He's completely anti-gay, and he is a homophobe. And again, Mike Penis is gay. That is a fact, an undeniable, inescapable fact. When will Drumpf stop lying, though, is the question. Will he ever? And when will this sorry, criminal fraudster, an anti-American piece of garbage, simply admit that he's just a liar and an idiot? 4 bankruptcies, a 5th looming on the horizon. He's been blacklisted by U.S. banks for unpaid debt. He can't even pay the interest on his debt. He has no money. Donald Drumpf has taken the star exemption in New York 6 years running. It is reserved exclusively for those New Yorkers making less than $500,000 a year. Show us a billionaire making $500,000 annually, and we will sell you the Brooklyn Bridge for 7 cents a foot. Take us up on the offer. Let's see Drumpf's taxes. Let's see him show something other than all bullshit and all talk. Mike Penis, go straight to hell. You're a creep. You're creating a great disservice to this country and your own gay community. Get with the program. Go in, see a psychiatrist, admit you're gay, help the gay community that you are obviously a part of, instead of trying to destroy it because your parents brutalized you the same way that Omar Mateen's father brutalized him. It's a disgusting thing you're doing, Mike Penis. You make us sick. And Drumpf, you're a liar and an idiot, and you say you're going to protect people while bringing in people who want to destroy the people you're alleging you're going to protect. There's nothing more vile or creepy. What a disgrace.
But just to button this up very quickly, sir, are you saying that if you become president, you might try to appoint justices to overrule the decision on same-sex marriage?
I would strongly consider that, yes.